Why did we first start this? This paper says, a national survey in England, that there is considerable variability in management of radial head fracture among experienced cohort of surgeons. With the interest declared by participating surgeons, there is a call for well-designed, sufficiently powered, randomized control trial. Reason is, we still, even in 2022, do not have a clear-cut idea as to what is to be done, especially in this comminuted radial head fracture. Again, Jesse Dupeter and others in management of radial head fracture did say, optimal treatment of type 2 and type 3 fracture is still a subject of debate, and there is a strong need for randomized clinical trials and uniform fracture classification and outcome measures. So, to prove my point, I had to take you a little bit towards anatomy, because most of the conservative managements were practiced earlier. 1950s, as Mason 1954 started off with this classification and treatment modalities. That time there was no MRI, there was only probably X-rays. So they knew more, or they were more into anatomy and what probably is soft tissue covering and other things. So I would like to show you that radial head articulates with the sigmoid notch of the ulna in a very small area. So a very small area is the sigmoid notch. Rest whole area is the annular ligament all around the radial head. So you can imagine that even if you have a radial head fracture, comminuted, if the portion which is closer to the sigmoid notch is intact, things can work, things can remodel, because the soft tissue, annular ligament around, if it's intact, things can go well. Then we can see all this. This is anatomy. Lateral side, lateral collateral ligament, annular ligament. Can you anyone see radial head? No, you can't. So just imagine a radial head fracture inside this, which reminds me of this situation or this scenario, which probably most of us must have seen in airports. Why do we wrap this bag around? Bag contains a lot of loose pieces. We wrap it around to make it compact. And the guy who throws this bag around, we have seen those things, and still everything is intact at the other side when we land. So this gives me an idea that if this all things are intact, and if there is a comminuted radial head fracture, things can be taken care of. Because mind you, radial head is a secondary stabilizer for the valgus forces. Medial collateral ligament is the primary stabilizer, along with the ulnar humeral joint. To again understand the radial head fracture, you should know this picture, where it shows there's an intraosseous membrane which holds the radius and ulna together. So if you have only radial head fracture and intraosseous membrane is intact, things can still be managed conservatively, and not to forget the distal radioulnar joint as well. Not to forget the medial side, which I just told you, medial collateral ligament is a primary stabilizer of the valgus instability. Because if you have a radial head removed or fractured, and if you have an MCL intact, valgus instability is only 20%, whereas if you have MCL gone, then the instability is around 90%. So you don't look radial head as only radial head. Mechanism of injury, most of us know, fall in an outstretched hand, in a flexed elbow in a pronated position. And of course, 1954, Mason was the first one to classify type 1, which is out of my picture of discussion today. Type 2, again out of discussion, just for mentioning for type 3 is something which we are going to talk about, which is comminuted radial head fracture. Johnston added this, another type 4, which was associated with elbow dislocation. But I think now this classification gains more importance. Primary classification, simple, complex. Simple, Mason 1, 2, and 3, which was marginal fracture, sectoral fracture, and comminuted fracture. But now, associated injuries gains more important because all comminuted fractures are not same. So medial collateral, lateral collateral, distal radioulnar joint disruption, intraosseous membrane disruption, associated coronoid and olecranon fracture will decide which radial head fracture is stable and which is unstable. What is the conservative management which you're talking about, or which I'm supposed to talk about? One, if the fracture comes, you aspirate the joint, you inject a local anesthetic, you move the forearm, check for rotational block. If there is no mechanical block, splint it for 3 days and then mobilize as comfortable. But that is applied only for Mason type 1 and type 2. For type 3, this is something which I found may be useful, even though I do not have any practical experience, where you put above elbow cylinder cast. Why? Because in this, you can maintain the radial ulnar humeral congruity, you can allow the soft tissues to heal, and at the same time, patients can do a pronosupination inside. And as I told you, if the lateral collateral ligament and lateral complex are intact, the radial head would be inside it, and there would be a stability of some sort, which later on can fibrose, and patient can still get a good result. Now, I might support my talk with some studies, which will be, of course, old studies, because conservative management and that too comminuted were mainly done in the past. These days, with different reasons, people have gone more towards the aggressive management. So this study, Wesley says that over a 20-year period, 387 cases, and it had type 1, type 2, and type 3. Last line says that excellent and good results were usually obtained. And last line says that, of course, motion, patient cooperation was important factor here. Another study, Carlson, 15 to 25 year study. Number of patients might seem small, but that was comminuted fractures. That's why numbers are small, because most of the radial head fractures fall in type 1 and type 2. Interpretation was most patients with an isolated comminuted fracture of radial head treated non-operatively or with radial head excision report no or only minor long-term complaints. So if we are going to go for conservative, we do tell the patients that yes, a delayed radial head excision may be required if you have symptoms. But these are huge studies, these are less number of studies, but huge number of years of follow-up. Now, results of delayed excision, why I put it here is, when you say delayed excision, means you had conserved the fracture earlier and then you excise the radial head later. So this study also says, and there were Mason type 2 and 17 Mason type 3. This study demonstrates the effectiveness of delayed excision after failure of close management of fracture of radial head. Thus, some justification is offered for the initial close reduction. So yes, there is a studies which say that you can. Radial head neck fracture functional results and predictors of outcome. Duckworth presented this. He said majority of radial head and neck fracture can be treated non-operatively, achieving excellent or good results. And of course, the other criteria like age and other things come into the picture. But yes, if you conserve, you can get away with good results. There is some Chinese literature also which conserved Mason type 2 and Mason type 3 and got decent results. So, my take-home message after this is, do not look at radial head fractures in isolation. Look for associated injuries like medial collateral, intraosseous, TFCC, coronoid, olecranon, because that may alter the line of treatment. Mason type 1, I don't think so there's any debate. Conserve, you get excellent results. Mason type 2, up to 2 to 5 millimeter displacement can be conserved and got away with good results. But what we are going to stress more is Mason type 3, and which can be conserved in certain situations with acceptable results, and those certain situations are low demand patient, osteoporosis, old age, no associated injuries, and patient is ready to accept a little bit limitations with a late or delayed radial head excision as one of the choices. But surgery, whether it guarantees a great result, I have my doubt, but my worthy opponent is going to shed more light on that. I feel it is still a long way to go to decide whether conservative or operative in comminuted radial head fracture. Thank you.